There is a huge population that moved it from Guyana in South America. I joined it, those moving to New York City, in search of a great education that would empower me for when I return to my home country. Representing me as well as I possibly can is an important part of my culture, as a Hindu woman of Indian descent. But since I've been here in New York City for the past 7 years, I've heard repeatedly that there is negative stereotypes about Guyanese people. When I arrived here, I was not aware that there were stereotypes about Guyanese people. In my own country, there are two main ethnic groups: those descended from East Indian slaves and indentured servants, and those descended from African slaves and indentured servants. These two groups have had their tensions, like the racial tensions of the US. With all the racial problems in my home country, never in Guyana did I ever feel the need to dispel any stereotypes about being Indo-Guyanese. Here in New York City, I feel like I've received an re-education on what it meant to be Guyanese. On the bus, I would overhear teens talking about how Guyanese people on the bus smelled bad and could not speak English right. My friends told me stories about bed-bug-infested apartments and Guyanese building owners who did nothing to get rid of the bugs. My neighbors told me about their worries about all Guyanese people moving to New York City because they have seen Guyanese people that were out all night, drinking and partying constantly. People asked me what the flags in front of our home meant and why so many family members lived it in one house. As I have learned that how little information was out there about Guyana, I started using my schoolwork as an opportunity to dispel stereotypes. Much of my coursework has given me a format for writing about my experiences as an international student and sharing representations of my country. Like the US, Guyana was a British colony. We gained our independence from the Great Britain in 1966. Which have taken the colony from the Dutch. Guyanese people may all look like Indians and speak Hindi like their Indian relatives, but that's just a stereotype. Although my family and I practice Hinduism, we only represent about a third of the country's population. Over half of the country's population is Christians, and the other half are Muslims and Catholic. Our language systems are completely different from our ancestors. We are the only English-speaking country in the South America, and most Guyanese speak with an accent. There are many sub-dialogues. Guyanese Creole is spoken differently, depending on the geographical location. Some who speak Guyanese Creole may say, "Every day, may I run a rice field," instead of saying, "Every day I hurry to the rice fields." As they say in our country, you can take a man from a gutter, but not a gutter from the man. In English is the main language, but Guyanese Creole is the official language of our small country of many languages. In Guyana, my ancestors came as slaves from India and then received their freedom to settle in the same country. Over the years, the morphing of Indian cultures, along with the Caribbean culture, give birth to a contrasting form of Hinduism. Some Indo-Guyanese people still carry on traditions such as arranged marriages. Yet there are stereotypes like the belief that Hindu women are suppressed. All common holidays are celebrated, We pray to the same gods and eat the same kind of food. In fact, many Hindu Indo-Guyanese people also celebrate Christmas and Halloween. Our food represents the influence of India, Caribbean, and the international community that stops through Guyana. Some Indo-Guyanese people also wear the same traditional clothing, but only on special occasions and when performing prayers. Overall, even though I was born in Guyana, I know I represent a diverse Guyana population. I do not have a Guyanese accent because I did not grow up speaking Guyanese Creole, although I understand some parts of it. Stereotypes about Guyanese may continue to spread, but I believe that over time, education will help all of us to learn about each other's cultures and similarities and differences.